Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into another League of Legends stream. I'm going to be your host, Agent 007.
And I'm his co-host Thompson.
All right, today we got the Ferris Gold team playing against PFW Gold today, and looks like we're just setting up for the lobby today. It's going to be a pretty exciting match. Rank disparity looks like overall relatively even. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Ferris a little bit down, but also a little bit up in some places. I expect great things from this match.
Yeah, I wonder what we're gonna see today. Um, Maybe any pocket picks or anything else.
All right. Today we do have a sub. We have Rewa playing. Normally he plays for the Crimson team, but this since he didn't play on Sunday, he is eligible to play for this one. So I'm excited to see him play on stream for the B team. See if he can bust out any moves that he doesn't normally do for the Crimson team.
Yeah, one player I'm looking forward to see is Cody or Rhea, because they didn't stream our last game, but we went 2-1 in our last game, and he's filling in for the B team.
Right. Another player I'd be watching out for is Dade. He said he's ready for this game. He's got some exciting picks planned out for us so long as they go through. Can't wait to see what he plans on doing with that. All right, looks like we're just waiting on one more person to join before we get this ball rolling.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Mans is playing though.
All right, I guess we subbed out Mans. I guess that was who Rewa is going to be tagging in for. What are you looking forward to seeing in this game, Thompson?
To me, it looks like Jonesy's playing top lane, so that seems interesting to me.
Right, we do see him, especially on the Trundle pick. He likes to split, get the hull breaker light, and just hammer away at the towers if people leave him alone. So long as Ferris can draw enough pressure and leave Jones to himself, he is very comfortable in the side lane by himself, and he does do a lot of the objective damage for Ferris' side. So, maybe we could see a base race, or we could see Jones save the game himself, something like that. It could make for an exciting match.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to see how Rewa fits in with this team. I don't think he's played with this team like in a competitive match yet. So wanted to see some of the synergy. Wanted to see some of the other picks. I'm also really excited to see Moist Ogre Shrooms. He's always a really exciting person to watch play. Very aggressive jungler, very proactive in playmaking style.
Do we know anything about the other team, and like, do they have any one tricks or anything else, or no?
We know their support likes to play a lot of Yumi, but I wouldn't exactly call him a one trick. And aside from that, everyone else seems to just, play whatever's meta and whatever works best for them. So, hey, if it works, it works. No judging here.
Yeah, based on the meta, they'll probably ban probably like champs like Zeri or anything else.
Right, Zeri, very strong pick right now. If you see, if you do play the champion and you see her left open, it is a good idea. Maybe not necessarily first pick it, but definitely around one pick at worst, I would say. Okay. Looks like the last person is still having computer problems. He's having a hard time joining the custom match right now. Hoping everything is okay. They might actually have to tag Mans back in. Or, no, actually, I don't think he can play right now. Because, yeah, he played Sunday. Actually, Mans isn't eligible to play, so, yeah.
Yeah, let's hope it's not a 15-minute thing.
Right, you don't want to sit here for too long. Not doesn't make for the most interesting stream in the world.
That and there's no game.
All right. So while we're waiting on the last person in the game to join, we're gonna take a quick little break. We'll come back to you once the person's in here and we're ready to start the stream again. Never mind. Looks like we have pro draft links. We're just gonna start that up now. Looks like the other person is at least in the call with them, so we can just start this now. And then when they eventually join, we could just start the match like that. So we will just go straight to the pro draft for now.
So we wait for the bands.
Right. So, we know Purdue has a pretty diverse champion pool. If you are Purdue, though, and you see FSU's champion pool, what are you looking to ban out early, Thompson?
I wouldn't know that much about our B team, but to be honest with you, I guess our mid laner's Corky's pretty good. I don't know what else, honestly. That's the only thing I can think of. I remember from last time that we podcast, the Corky was like the biggest thing, and then like probably like we had like a good Lee Sin jungle. But other than that, we had a Lee Sin and Kha'Zix one trick, I think. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Orgashrooms is known for his Lee Sin and Kha'Zix. Don't know if they want to spend both of their round one bans on both of those, but if they ban one and leave the other up, I would expect FSU to pick the other one for Moist Orgashrooms. That way he is on one of his more comfortable picks. If they do ban both, though, that does free up a lot of options for the rest of the players on FSU. I also do agree with you on the Corky pick. Corky's really strong right now. Dade, he does do a lot of damage. Maybe not early game, but once mid game and late game hits, he definitely does turn online and start chucking out those rockets and doing big damage to the enemy team.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other champions they have. I don't really remember any other role really. I think
Rewa is going to be playing ADC this game, if I'm understanding correctly. Oh, all right. Looks like we got the ban phase started. Ferris is going to be blue side. They get first pick and ban.
Zoe.
Start off with the Zoe ban. And Purdue bans the Zeri, as we said earlier. Very strong pick. And the Vex ban. We know last time they played, he went against the Vex. Didn't end all too well. Purdue bans the Vladimir. That was one pick that Dade was really looking forward to playing, though. And we see that Ferris decides to ban the Syndra.
There's the Kha'Zix ban.
All right. Purdue bans out the Kha'Zix. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lee Sin pick from Ferris. And they decide to get a first pick of Felios. I know Cody really likes the champion. Not sure how strong he is right now, though. But definitely a comfort pick for him. We're going to see how Purdue decides to respond to this.
Jinx might be a counter pick.
Right.
I wouldn't know because of the bot lane. Would you know?
Jinx versus Aphelios is pretty much a neutral lane. It's more support dependent. So if I were Purdue, depending on what you want to do, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could see something like the Alistar or the Thresh. If you wanted to be passive and scaling, because Jinx has a lot of good scaling, you could see the Lulu. But we see the Seraphine come out. That could still be a Seraphine mid, but Seraphine is designed first and foremost as a support champion. So wouldn't be surprised if that is pairing up with the Jinx. But this does leave some really safe options for Aphelios, such as the Yumi, the Lulu, Janna, really strong right now. And we get the Sana.
Oh, the better Seraphine. Nice.
Sana not too long ago got a rework because she just got outclassed in pretty much every way by Seraphine. So they had to make her, make some reason for you to still want to play the champion.
And there's Lee Sin pick. I was going to say I was expecting that, but
Right.
I didn't say it fast enough.
Right. Ferris has to pick up the Lee Sin now. Otherwise, there's almost a 100% chance that it doesn't make it through the round 2 bans. So not surprised by that. Wouldn't be surprised to see a jungle pick right here from Purdue. You might want to pick your mid laner now. Ferris did ban out 3 mid laners. So, they do have a thing against him for some reason. All right, we see the Lee Sin getting hovered instead, and they decide to lock it in. Oh, instantly hover Jarvan. That might actually be a Jarvan pick. They might have been too slow to change it.
That's the only way I see that is Jarvan top, but even then I feel like that's just a random ban. I don't know. Okay,
Right, they switched it to the Victor. Yeah, I'm going to assume that was supposed to be a Jarvan pick instead of the Xin Zhao. And Ferris decides to respond with the Swain. Purdue really going after Dade with the Victor ban as well. And the Urgot gets canceled out also. Not sure how well known Jones was for playing the Urgot, but you know, ranged top laners just do ranged top laners thing. No one really enjoys playing against them.
I wouldn't say that's range, but
No, I mean, bigger attack range than like Darius, so ranged enough. You put a relic shield on him, he has a hard time getting it. And Ferris with 5 mid lane bans going after the Malzahar as well. No one likes the point and click hard CC for 2.5 seconds, unless you want to spend money on the QSS tax.
I think it's worth.
All right.
But I won't judge who they ban.
Purdue responds with the Malphite. Looks like it's going to be a Malphite top. Better than it was last time Ferris had to play against Malphite when they had the Jhin ADC. Wasn't a whole lot they could really do. The ADC could really do against that. Ferris does a lot better, and Ferris could respond with the Gwen, who does amazing into the Malphite. Her true damage Q, and she can really stack up her Q passive with all of her auto attacks.
2 AP top laners that you don't see that often. Nice.
Alrighty, and they lock in with the Gwen to see who Ferris is going to pick for mid lane. Corki is still up. Wouldn't be surprised if they decide to lock that in right now, seeing as how the Vladimir and Victor did get banned out.
Got it.
We see the Zillion hover. Are we going to see the Zillion mid?
Yeah, looking like a Zillion mid to me.
Alrighty, we get Dade on the Zillion mid. Very exciting to see. Not a champion you see all the time, but hey, this is going to be very awesome. You see the Felios get ulted by the Malphite, and you don't. You could just click R on him, and he eventually just become. It's in effect a Zanyas because you kind of don't want to kill him until it wears out, but you kind of have to. And
Seraphine mid.
Looks like it's going to be a Seraphine mid and a Lulu support for the Jinx. So it looks like Purdue's bot lane is going to be playing relatively safe, whereas Ferris wants to be a little more aggressive. Sana, really strong poke champion, and Aphelios with say his chakrams and his sniper, also very good at poke. So we could see Ferris being a lot more aggressive than Purdue. Probably have push priority, and if Lee Sin wanted to get some early dragons, he could.
Yeah, it's looking like if Purdue can land the combo, that's where it's at, based on team fights.
Right, you got the Malphite ulting in, then you get the Seraphine, follow up with that. They do have Xin Zhao for a lot of early game pressure on Purdue's side, but Ferris does have the Lee Sin to match said pressure. I wonder if we're going to see, Ogre Shrooms on his aggressive playstyle against the Xin Zhao, because unlike the other junglers he plays against, Xin Zhao is very competent in the early game, and he is ready for the invade so long as he has the health for it. He doesn't mind fighting a Lee Sin.
Yeah, Purdue has a really annoying comp with healing, shielding, and CC, but looks like FSU has more damage.
Right, FSU overall just more damage, but Purdue really does. They can flip the switch from just harassing from a long range and then just Malphite going in and then Seraphine ulting and just all in team fight, just face roll their keyboards. So. Hey, this game could very well go either way. Can't wait to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the jungler and see how he does this game, because our last 2 games that we casted, he was the MVP.
Right, jungler is probably going to be the role to watch the most, especially in the early game. See if Lee Sin can get his team an early lead. We see a Malzahar pick from Ferris. Probably gonna have to leave the game for that. I don't think that was intended. But yeah, we do see that. Forgot what I was gonna say. Moist Argashrooms does like to invade a lot. See if he can get an early lead for his team, and because both junglers Xin Zhao and Lee Sin do fall off in the late game, so. Lee Sin eventually effectively just becomes an alt bot, and Xin Zhao just tries to kill one person and then do what he does. There's not a whole lot he does best, but yeah. So both junglers are gonna attempt to be as proactive as they can in early game, if I were to imagine, and set up their. I would assume ADCs, because both the ADCs do scale amazingly into the late game.
Yeah, the laning phase for the bot lane is going to be interesting as well with the current picks, but it looks like we're at a delay at the moment with something going on with Ferris's team.
All right. All right. While we wait for supporters to come back and they get through pick drive fans, we're gonna send you to a break, and then we'll come back once the game is started. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey Bulldogs, it's Move-In 2020. Let's see how the students are getting settled in.
All right, welcome back. The game is just about started. We are about 4 seconds away from the loading screen. Everybody's got their champions picked, and we're gonna get this thing started. Can't wait to see how this happens. See how this goes. Looking at team comps, we see Ferris has a lot more damage on their team, but they don't have a proper front line. Whereas Purdue has a more standard team comp, but their goals are a bit out of sync, not a whole lot of things in line together. But
Yeah, both had the weird support mid, but let's see how that goes.
We do see both double support mid. They both also have TP, so for a TP game. Another thing is that we see the exhaust on the Jinx. Not sure who's going to use that on. Probably on the Lee Sin, because I can't imagine exhaust does a whole lot to the Gwen once she starts getting her items up. Right, is Ferris looking for an invade, or no? The Gwen is still sitting in base right now. We're probably just going to see a standard 5-point for them.
Yeah, I didn't think it was an invade because not all 5 were traveling as one, but it's
right. Looking at the items, looks like it's pretty standard items across the board. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Most thing looking weird is probably Jinx with a longsword, but even then, nothing to question there.
Yeah, the only one that I can think of is probably Gwen's item, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say I see that often on her.
I know it's becoming more common because in the early game she's a lot more auto attack dependent, so having the lifesteal on her is more beneficial than having the mana regen. She doesn't spend a whole lot of mana anyway. So, it's not really, too out of the ordinary to see a Gwen start. So, as we get into this, we see both junglers starting their red side. Xin Zhao's going to be starting top side, so we might see an early gank into the bottom lane. As we stated earlier, the Aphelios Sona should have push priority over the Jinx Lulu in the early game. And on the Xin Zhao, really good early game ganker. But he does not have any reliable hard CC. They do have the Jinx Trap and a Lulu Polymorph, but doesn't really help out with the Xin Zhao ganks a whole lot.
Both junglers starting at red, so they might be clearing the same way.
Right. Wouldn't be so. Maybe they do know that the Lee Sin would try to be a pretty proactive gank, a heavy jungler. So maybe he's just wanting to start his top side, and we see that there's a word on Xin Zhao's blue buff. So just prepping for an invade and just clearing his top side, hoping that Lee Sin probably just wastes his time if he does go into the enemy's jungle.
Looking like a slow push top from Gwen.
Right.
As her wave is about to hit the tower.
We could see a level 2 gank from Xin Zhao, but no, it's not something he wants to look forward to. Malphite also a champion who doesn't provide a whole lot of early pressure and for ganks. All he can really do is just Q and slow the enemy top laner, and after that, you're just relying on Xin Zhao to do pretty much everything else. Not really worth his time to show where he is on the map for that. But we do see that Ferris is instead getting pushed in the early game by the Jinx Lulu. Not something I was really expecting. Yeah, we see the Lee Sin ganking mid right now, though.
A lot of poking with the Lee Sin gank mid.
She still has her flash. We see there is no ignite in the mid lane, so she's going to survive this. Well, with both of her summoners, Ferris seems to think that she flashed, but she didn't. Mispinging that could be detrimental for the future. So,
More poking going on bot lane as the waves, they're trying to almost freeze the wave.
Right, really aggressive. We see Sana is losing a bit more HP than the Lulu, but Sana does have the heal, whereas Lulu doesn't. So, not really, all that detrimental for Ferris. And Ferris is going to get their bot lane shoving now. But the Lee Sin is bot lane. He's probably going to be going after this crab. Looks like Lee Sin is already on it. Seraphine is there before the Zillion. He's by himself. He has to blow his flash and give up the crab for that.
Fight's going on bot lane is Ferris.
Jinx decides to use her exhaust, and they're still going at it. Trading blows. Looks like no one's going to go down. Oh, Lulu goes down. Jinx gets the first blood, though. And Sana gets the kill. Jinx with the early game double kill and the first blood in her pocket. And Aphelios doesn't get the kill himself. That's not really all that, not really what you want to see if you're on Ferris' side right there. Jinx, the champion who was more so looking forward to scaling in the game. So if she is able to get her items earlier, it's going to be very hard for them to come back after that. So Ferris has to play smarter now if they want to come back into this game. Or, you know, maybe they could have the Lee Sin just focus fire this Jinx down if she is the only real threat on the enemy team.
Meanwhile, Drake's about to be up in a couple minutes. We're watching top lane go and fighting each other for minions.
Right, you know, the wave is a little bit frozen in front of the Malphite's lane, but he doesn't have a real reliable way to just keep it there. So Gwen has a pretty easy time just shoving it under tower, and she's going to bait the recall, just make the Malphite waste his mana. He is out of corrupting pots, whereas Gwen still has her pot. Sana takes a tower shot for trying to Q the Lulu under the tower.
Looks like another Xin Zhao game bot.
We see the Lee Sin come out. Lulu uses her polymorph a little bit early. Xin Zhao is not in range to follow up with anything yet. Ferris does not have... Oh, they do have a ward. Lulu puts a pink ward over the wall. Ferris sees it, and they're going to get it before Lee Sin decides to do anything. He decides to fall back, or he comes back. We're going to see our early game dragon. He is level 4 with Smite up. It's not very difficult for him to do even solo, but it is something you would rather have your bot lane help you with since you don't know where the Lee Sin is.
Looks like both top laners backed as the wave is in the middle, and now we're watching both mid lanes fight each other.
Right, both top laners decide to conserve their TP and just let the minions do what they do. From what I can see, I think it's going to be pushing into the Gwen ever so slightly. Yeah, red side's minions did hit first, so I think that does mean it pushes into blue side's tower.
We also got Lee Sin invading Xin Zhao's jungle as he's taking 2 camps.
Right, he's scouting out the camps. Lee Sin is still on the bot lane. The bot crab is up, so I would expect the Lee Sin to still stay down there. Lee Sin decides to take Xin Zhao's Krugs to replace that. And we could see that transition into a topside gank. We know the first gank didn't work out too well, and he ended up having to blow a splash at the bot crab. So he really, he probably is looking for something to do to get some numbers up on the board for him and his team.
Yeah, not looking like much of, even though they have a kill lead, it's looking like the gold is losing, or if anything, Ferris actually.
Right. Lee Sin ganks top. Malphite decides to just walk it out. There's not a whole lot he can do. Gwen isn't in range to follow up with anything, and Lee Sin actually loses that trade. And since they now know where the Lee Sin is, he's all the way across the map. Purdue decides to just get the first dragon 7 minutes in. Nothing really stopping them at this point. Zillion is just fighting the Seraphine mid. Looks like he's winning, but he can't do too much knowing that the enemy team is on the dragon right now.
He's winning in pokes, but he's down in CS at the moment. See how that goes on.
You know, even though Purdue did get the first blood and the first dragon, it looks like Ferris is still up 300 gold right now. So the CS differential, especially in the top lane, is quite noticeable right now. We see the Xin Zhao is counter-invading the Ferris's bot side jungle, and all of Lee Sin's camps are up right now. He might lose a lot for this if the Zillion isn't aware of this and goes put a word down or fight him. Looks like they're not. Lee Sin is going to go to his Raptors. Will they scout out the Xin Zhao? No, they will not. Xin Zhao gets in, takes a couple of Raptors, and he gets out, probably just leaving one of the small chickens up for him just to delay the reset timer for him. Lee Sin is still in the mid area. He really wants this mid gank off.
The
Seraphine the Seraphine goes down. Zillion uses his ultimate on the full HP Lee Sin instead of himself. Jinx ults, tries to get the kill, and Lee Sin gets the kill. Just overpowering the Xin Zhao. We see something for bot lane. Both of Purdue's bot laners are 6, whereas neither of Ferris's are. We know Jinx doesn't have the R. She tried to shoot in mid lane, didn't connect. But Lulu still has her ultimate. And looks like all summoners are back up in the bottom lane, so we could see something happening relatively soon from them, if I were to guess.
Yeah, Ferris isn't level 6 yet, so it won't. Oh, they just got 6, sort of.
Okay, looks like Purdue is just going to decide to just recall, spend the gold that they've gotten in the last few minutes. Jinx may or may not have tier 2 boots right now. Looks like no place has fallen, so I'm not too sure on that. Maybe just pick up, say, a pickaxe or something. I don't know. Yeah, she gets the tier 2 boots. Or nope, she sells them and decides to get the pickaxe instead, yeah. just taunting the recall. Xin Zhao is in the top lane, so the Gwen can't really, you know, just fake a recall in front of the Malphite like this, especially when he's level 7. He has his ultimate up, and, you know, with the Xin Zhao there, that's almost a guaranteed kill for Purdue on that side. But it looks like she really wants to recall. Probably has a pretty important item. I think Blasting Wand builds into that. Yeah, has the Blasting Wand and gets a pink too. Probably going to TP back to lane so she doesn't miss any minions. Yeah, we see it come out.
Yeah, Ferris has a big top lane lead at the moment. With it was a level and now it's still 30-40 CS.
Right, you know, if you're Malphite, I mean, just coming out of the lane alive against the Gwen is really all you can ask for. I mean, you're essentially you're just an alt bot and like you're kind of just frontline. I mean, early game Ferris isn't going to be doing a whole lot of damage to you, so you don't like desperately need your tank items. But you know, I guess they'd be nice to have. Really, all you need is your alt for the team fights, and then after that, you kind of just be an annoyance. And we see the enemy bot lane is split, but the Xin Zhao is here. We could see something come out. The Ferris whips the ultimate, and he goes down. The Jinx would have died if he landed that. It's so sad to see, but the Sana gets out. She keeps both of her sums, but the Ferris blows both of his, and the Jinx is now 3-0, 11 minutes into the game. Really scary sight to see. That could very well be her first completed item, whether she decides to get the Immortal Shield Bow or the Gale Force. If I were her, probably get Shield Bow. They have a lot of damage you really want to shield for, and you can't always rely on your Lulu and Seraphine to shield you, whereas they don't have a ton of skill shots you really need to dodge. Really, all you need to dodge is the Sana ult.
Gank, and this is Q.
Seraphine gets out of that one pretty easily and gets a free pink ward for her troubles there. And we see Purdue finally back. Not the greatest time to reset, because if Ferris realizes this, they could very well just shove this in, maybe get a plate or two. And yeah, looks like Sana's gonna roam instead. Or probably just get some vision down, yeah, and the Ferris might be able to get some solo gold. Lee Sin looks for something aggressive. He ults the Malphite, doesn't really do any damage. He just walks out of there. Ferris gets another plate on bot lane. There's only 2 tower plates left. And we see the Lee Sin has the Rift Hold, so I would expect him to go bot lane and then just break down this tower, get a free first tower gold, and extend this goldie that they already have even more.
Yeah, also Drake is about to start right now. It's up.
Right, so Lee Sin also has his completed first item, whereas the Xin Zhao doesn't, so we more than likely will see something pop off in the bot lane really soon right now. Xin Zhao starts the dragon, and Lee Sin is in the area. Looks like Ferris is going to try to get some wards on it. They know that Ferris is on. Yep, alright, the Squire's Bloom comes out, and they see the Lee Sin on it. Not the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao decides to back off, and I think they're waiting for either Ferris to get some better guns or just for his ultimate to come up. He doesn't exactly have the best team fight guns right now. Oh, Lee Sin sneaks the dragon right in front of the Xin Zhao. And it looks like it's going to be a Cloud Soul. Not really what you want to see for either team. I don't really think.
It's not the worst soul.
Yeah, I mean, like, Gwen likes it, and, like, I don't know, Jinx is okay with it. Aside from that, I mean, like, none of them really benefit a whole lot from it. Oh, Lee Sin walks into the trap. Sana ults. We see a big fight going on. Ferris hits the R. He gets out alive. Jinx blows the flash over the wall. She doesn't get it, and Ferris gets the shutdown on Jinx. That is exactly who you want the gold on. Looks like Seraphine has to blow her flash so she doesn't get stunned by the Zillion double bomb. And Ferris comes out with a win for that. Definitely worth for them. Oh, I would, you know, with the Jinx dead, I thought Zillion would, Lee Sin would have used the Rift Herald in the bot lane, but it looks like instead he's going to go mid lane.
It looks like more gold actually, so not a bad idea.
Right, yeah, the plate is still up there. But yeah, all the plates are still up. But you know, if you do have the Herald, since it does do true damage to the tower, you probably want to get the plates first. And then when it's on the last 2 plates, get the Herald. That way you get the guaranteed first tower. Well, it looks like it's already really low. They're just going to force it down anyway. So Ferris still gets the first tower blood. It doesn't matter how you get it, you know, so long as you get it at the end of the day. Zillion is not able to get an efficient recall with the gold he just got, so the gold advantage he likely has over the Seraphine, even though he's down 30 CS, all the tower plating he did get from that, you know, he isn't able to spend it right now. Not the position you want to be in exactly.
Looks like bot lane's pushing in the wave, as we can see here. Xin Zhao's coming top, probably going to fight the Gwen.
Right, Gwen does have the flash up. She does have the R as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something. Lee Sin decides to gank bot lane. He ults Lulu. The Jinx is going to get out alive. Lulu's not so lucky. Oh, the Gale Force goes in, and the Aphelios gets the double kill. Now we have 2 3-2 late game scaling ADCs. You know, this is what you want to see if you're on both teams. But as of right now, I mean, you know, Ferris is up almost 4K, a little over 3K gold right now. So, and they get another tower. So they're going to stand out to almost 4K gold themselves.
Yeah, such a good game. That's what we expect off of that jungle.
Right, you know, his first couple of games didn't work out exactly as planned. But, you know, looks like they're hitting exactly how he wanted them to. Now, Xin Zhao is back in the top side. Now we could see something aggressive. Jones is trying his hardest to kill this Malphite, not accomplishing a whole lot. Blows his flash to get out. Will he get out? He does not. Xin Zhao gets the 150 gold shutdown. All right, now we see the 1-0 Lee Sin versus the 2-1 Xin Zhao. Both of them have a Gore Drinker and the free magical footwear. Wouldn't be surprised. Oh, looks like Lee Sin is recalling right now. Probably going to get some more items. And we see the bot lane and mid lane on Ferris' side swapping since both towers are gone.
Looks like Lee Sin trying to get an invade sort of, or a free kill.
Oh. They spot the Lulu, but Lulu just plops the plan and gets out of there easy. Oh, Lee Sin takes the blue buff and gets out. Just bullying the Xin Zhao as expected. You know, we did, as stated in the pregame, this Lee Sin is extremely aggressive as a jungler, and he just took the blue buff in front of his face. There was really nothing that the Xin Zhao could do about it. Looks like Lee Sin recalls, gets ninja tabbies or steel plated caps, whatever they're called now, and Warhammer's Caulfield. So he's really strong right now. Xin Zhao is playing catch up. He's up almost 30 CS over the Xin Zhao. So we see the Everfrost coming out from the Zillion and the Ludens from the Seraphine.
Not much is going on the map right now. It's Ferris preps for Drake. Other than that, both teams are just CSing.
Right. I would like to point out the Mobies on the Lulu. That's not something you see a whole lot anymore. You more so see that on champions you want to roam with. Whereas on the Lulu, you have a 3-2 Jinx. You don't really want to be roaming a whole lot. You just want to stay by her. Right,
looks like a free Drake.
Lee Sin bursts down the Xin Zhao, and they get the Malphite TP for it. This looks like a free second Rift Herald for Ferris, and then probably going to use that top side and just open up the map even more. Either that, or they just hold it until a Dragon spawns, which looks like it's going to be up in about 30 seconds, and then just put that mid lane and then give Purdue an ultimatum. Say, hey, you can get this, you can keep your mid tower healthy, or you can try to fight us for this Dragon, because Purdue isn't exactly going for it yet. They don't have a smite. Looks like Purdue will start setting up for it, though. And top tower falls without the use of Rift Herald. Lee Sin decides to stay topside, and Xin Zhao is backing towards the Dragon. So it looks like they're going to trade a second or third Dragon in exchange for some pretty good damage on his top tower. Probably, I would assume they get this. I don't think Seraphine stops both of them. Or does she? She does a lot of damage with the Lee Sin and gets the shutdown. Jones goes for the tower dive. She blows her flash. Does Jones get out? She gets the double kill. Jones a bit too optimistic there, and it doesn't work out in the end. Jinx uses her ult, but it doesn't really connect to anything. We see the aggressive flash from the Aphelios. Does he get the kill? He misses the sniper shot. The Zillion ult to protect him doesn't really accomplish much, but hey, you know, he's alive at the end of the day. Malphite gets out. Seraphine and Malphite both live there, and they exchange tier 2 top tower for tier 1 mid tower. And Drake. Overall, that's probably a more worth trade for Purdue, but they are still down over 3K gold. But at this point, you know, just opening up the map and getting these late game objectives are pretty much your end goal. You want to enable this Jinx as much as possible, since she's pretty much going to be your win condition for here on out. Her and the Seraphine all.
Yeah, they have a lot for that win condition also because of the shields and front line. So.
Right, you know, with the Malphite and the Xin Zhaos, they definitely have the better, more noticeable front line than Ferris does. Where Ferris, wouldn't be surprised if we just see Jones do what he does best and just split and just try to draw pressure. Hopefully the Malphite, because you really don't want him in team fights. But if I were to guess, they would probably just send Lee Sin after him like they are doing now. We see another gang popping up. And he gets knocked up by the Malphite. That's going to be a dead Gwen. Gonna take a little while, but at the end of the day, they do get it. Malphite gets the kill, so he gets some numbers up on the board. That closes the gap in gold that they had between them. Aphelios goes in. He's CC'd under the tower, but the Zillion is there for the ult. Oh, he doesn't need it, or does he? Oh, the ult. Jinx almost timed that perfectly. Well, she did time it perfectly.
Roaming mid as it looks like Malphite's getting through.
Looks like he's caught out. Lulu ults knocked all three of them up, but she doesn't do anything with it. She gets hit with the Lee Sin Q and blows her flash and still doesn't make it out alive. 1-for-0 trade on Ferris' side. Lulu suffers the consequences for it. Man, really sad to see. They played that about as well as they could. You know, they CC'd the Feathers while he was under tower, taking all the turret damage, and they timed the Jinx out pretty much as well as you could, but he survived with 1 HP. Really sad to see, especially when he has a 300 gold shutdown on him.
Oh, meanwhile, we saw Gwen TP, so...
Right, the Unleashed TP is out now, so Gwen can just TP to any object she feels like.
Most of these TPs we haven't really been seeing much except for them going to waves or anything else. I don't even think we've seen the Midlaners TP.
Right. Well, I know we saw the Seraphine TP mid at about 11 minutes or so, but like it was after she had died to the Lee Sin gank. But I don't think she's TP'd since, and I don't know if the Zillion has TP'd either. See some pretty aggressive plays. They're going to take Xin Zhao's entire bottom side jungle, hand off the blue buff to the Gwen. You know, the Gwen has been getting spam ganked by the Xin Zhao. Not sure if that's exactly who you want it on. The Lee Sin recalls. They saw him leave, and Gwen is by herself again. We see the Seraphine is also there. That could be a 3v1 situation, but no, they decide to just clear the wave, and Lee Sin, not Lee Sin, Xin Zhao pretty much just go for a lane gank. Not really ever going to accomplish anything there, especially when Gwen has flash up.
Ferris is pushing mid at the moment as it looks like we're just going back to CSing or prepping for Drake because Drake could be up in probably 2 to 3 minutes.
Right. It looks like overall the map is relatively dark. We see, I think, 3 wards on Ferris' side and like 3 wards on Purdue's side. The problem with Purdue's wards is that all of them are in their jungle. They don't have any aggressive wards, and Ferris will go for an early game Baron for that. They fall back. They just wanted to see if Purdue knew about it because they didn't put any pink wards on it, even though Sana has a pink ward in her inventory. But, you know, they just decided, hey, we can see if we get this, but if not, you know, it's not that important. It's only 23 minutes in the game. Not going to make a break. Plus, the Dragon is going to be up in about 30 seconds. And I think Ferris is going to be looking at that towards their win con. The Lee Sin is 2 levels up on the Xin Zhao right now. Well, so as of right now, I think they have the same smite, but in a 1v1, you know, he will be outputting more damage, especially since he has 2 completed items. He has the Death Dance, whereas the Lee Sin is still, the Xin Zhao is still working on his second.
Yeah, 2 of the best user items at the moment, and looks like they're trying to trade Baron for Drake.
Right, yeah, we see the trade going off. Glenn gets the tier 2 tower, and they leave Seraphine by herself. That is one of the 2 ultimates Purdue really needs on their side. She blows the flash and gets Gwen's flash, but she does not make it out alive. And looks like Purdue does not get the Drake for it. Instead, they're going to keep pressing this. And Lee Sin gets the kill on the Xin Zhao. Purdue no longer has a smite. They're down 2 members. They're and 4 people on Baron. You probably just give that up and just maybe either go after Gwen or see if you can get this Dragon before Ferris is done with this. But no, they're just going to stay in their base and turtle up and try to outlast this Baron. Wouldn't be surprised if Ferris just beelines it to this Dragon instead. Looks like that's what they're going to do. probably fix his wave up first, and they're going to collapse on the Gwen call out. Not a whole lot you can do. Jinx R just goes right through it, though. You know, Gwen is a very fun 20 years champion, but they still give it on the carry. 4-2 Jinx.
While they're distracted with Gwen, Mason goes for a Drake after doing the Baron.
Right, no one here to contest them. Purdue just decides to give this up, which not really what you want to see. You have objective bounties up. That could have been a lot of gold in the pockets that they really need right now. They're down almost 7K gold, which is pretty devastating. 25 minutes in the game. You know, you really need as much gold as you can get right now. And this Gwen, even though she's not getting a whole lot of kills, she's just causing mayhem across the map because someone has to deal with her. And clearly, as just shown, the Seraphine isn't nearly enough. You kind of have to keep the Malphite there, but Malphite is your most reliable CC on Purdue's side, so he also has to be in team fights. He's in a really, you know, paradoxical situation right now.
Speaking of gold, Ferris has a 6K gold lead with the objective bounties finally coming out for Purdue.
Right, you know, we're going to see Ferris put some wards down. I would expect them to start being a little more proactive. They do have the Baron buff. They need to extend his gold lead as much as they can while they have it. And looks like we could be seeing a 1-3-1 with the Zillion and Gwen splitting. Both of them have TP, but I wouldn't expect Gwen to be in a fight. More so expect her to just be in the bot lane because they do have the open inhib that she could get. And left her own vices, I would expect her to get it. Looks like Lee Sin is just going to be hiding, you know, waiting for his opportune moment to land a Q on pretty much anyone he hits.
Purdue's trying to start a fight.
The Seraphine ult doesn't connect, and looks like the Sauna is going to go down instead. Oh, the Aphelios dodges the Malphite R with his Gale Force, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. Jinx is just too strong with her passive product on because of the Sauna. She's just going to run down the Aphelios, and Aphelios goes down, but Ferris will trade an inhib for it. You know, they lose 2 Barons for it, but they get an inhib. Overall, not a bad trade.
Looking like Purdue's doing the A-room strat by pushing mid.
Right. Lee Sin stops the Malphite back. Malphite has to TP now in order to stop the Zillion from getting 2 inhibs. And looks like Purdue's going to start cashing out on some of these bounties. They get the mid-tier 2 tower. Opens up the map a lot more. Lee Sin is by himself in a 1v3 situation. Hits the Xin Zhao away. He does have, I think, 3 wards right now, so, you know, he could ward hop away very easily should the worst happen. Lee Sin runs them down 1v3. I guess he's just that scary to them. And, yeah, Purdue just decides to fall back and call it quits.
It's that death dance. You're so scared.
Right, he also has a BF sword and a cloth armor. I think that's going to be building into a GA, which, I mean, you know, at this point, not sure how necessary it is. You kind of just want to insect the Jinx into your team, and then after that, you pretty much just win a team fight if you're Ferris, especially with how much gold you have over them.
Yeah, I feel like Ferris does want to drag it out.
Right. This isn't a game you really want to keep going for longer than it needs to be. Malphite is caught out right now, but since Ferris doesn't know where anyone is, they're going to run away.
Try to catch Lee Sin as he ward hops away.
And Lee Sin gets out of there easy peasy and takes the Malphite and Jinx ult with him.
As we go into a big team fight.
Alright, looks like Xin Zhao is by himself. Seraphine ult gets 3 people with it, but Jones gets the Xin Zhao and goes in 1v4 by himself. The exhaust is not enough to stop him. As stated, we see
what a nice Lee Sin kick.
Alright, if Ferris decides to go bot lane, this could very well be the end of the game. Looks like they're just going to run through tower. We see the TP coming out from Gwen. And Sauna decides to take the long way. Yeah, this could very well be the end of the game. Very long death timers. Lee Sin's not up for 16 seconds. Malphite doesn't even have aura, can't hold this by himself. Lots of super minions in base. And Ferris will take game 1 in 28.5 minutes. Amazing play from Moist Ogretrooms yet again. Did what we expected him to do. Jones came back, and you know, him splitting bot lane drew a lot of pressure, got that inhib, and led to them ending the game as they needed to. They didn't want to drag that game out longer than it needed to be. Exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, look, it was looking like the jungler and the top laner were the MVPs of this game. We got the jungler did a lot of good plays with Lee Sin kicks and taking objectives and everything else, and then at the end the top laner was kind of 1v4ing.
Right, you see Jinx with the most kills in the game at only 6, but when you have Lee Sin and you're the only damage threat on your team, and you have a person who could just force you into the enemy team, that's not the greatest thing. Would have liked to see the Thresh in response to that because we do know that they picked a Lulu last, and Thresh also does really well into the Sana Felios. That could have been something that they prioritized or gotten in order to protect the Jinx better. But hindsight is 2020. So
Yeah.
now if you're Purdue, you take back to the drawing board, figure out what went wrong, and where you can improve yourself to hopefully wins game 2 and 3 for them.
Yeah. For Purdue, I'm guessing they're probably gonna try and ban that Lee Sin.
Right. It could be you could see the same thing we saw in Ferris Gold's first game where they banned the Kazakhs for game 1, and Lee Sin just destroyed them, and then game 2 they decided to ban Lee Sin, and Kazakhs was the problematic person. So you know they might just have to ban both and drop one of their early round 1 picks and just force the jungler into an uncomfortable situation.
Other than that, I thought mid was an interesting 1v1 with the supports.
Right, not something, I wasn't expecting as much as we got out of that. We saw a lot of ganks from both sides on mid lane, but two supports both with pretty unreliable, hard to hit CC, and with two junglers that rely on CC to get their ganks. Not a whole lot they could really do, but I mean, still exciting nonetheless. Early game, maybe you want to see the Xin Zhao be a bit more proactive. We saw a lot of times he was hovering in the top lane. Looks like he was more so ready for counter ganks instead of trying to proactively gank. So if you do pick an early game jungler like the Xin Zhao, you might want to see some more like active ganking like the Lee Sin was doing, where if he was in the lane, he was just going for it. He didn't care about if the enemy team knew where he was or where he was planning to go next.
Yeah, I thought the Xin Zhao was trying to gank bot a lot, which felt like some of those ganks were successful.
Right, early game, the Jinx was getting a lot of kills. She was 2-0 with the first blood. So, she was a scary sight. But Lee Sin evened it out and got his ADC back in the game. Well, you really noticed the difference in skill and CSing on Ferris' side, because even though they were down kills for most of the game, they were up in gold for for pretty much the entirety of the game, and most of that had to do with the CS differential, especially in the top lane.
Yeah, to be fair, that top lane matchup wasn't really fun for the Malphite.
Right, not a whole lot you could do. You kind of just got bullied there, but maybe you see a different pick from them, see something that has a bit more agency, or maybe they decide to ban out the Gwen. Not sure if we would see, say, a Gwen, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix ban round 1 from Purdue, but you never know, because I think they would still want to keep the Zeri ban, because I know I'm pretty sure that Rewa has been playing it a good amount.
Other than that, what did you think of the bot lane matchup?
Bot lane matchup, it went pretty much as opposite as I expected. I thought Ferris was going to be the aggressors in that lane, gonna keep shoving, keeping the Jinx and Lulu under tower, but it looked like it was the other way around. And because of that, the Xin Zhao couldn't be as proactive as he'd like to be in the bot lane. We did see the early gank, but we only saw like one real gank. After that, it was mostly just a counter gank. So Moist Ogre Shrooms really had free reign to just keep spam ganking the immobile bot lane and getting his Aphelios Sana back in the game. Even though they were down a lot of gold because of what happened after the first gank.
Yeah, other than that, I thought Ferris did a good job with most of the things that they did. I felt like top lane played the role pretty well with the CS, and then of course the jungler was just always doing good.
Right, it took him a little bit to decide to start invading, but once he did, he was just in the Xin Zhao's face saying, hey, you're going to have to deal with me eventually. Why not just deal with me now? And, sometimes it worked, but sometimes it didn't. But, when you make aggressive plays like that, it's just risk you're gonna have to take at the end of the day. And overall, if it gets your team to win, I mean, you're probably just gonna keep doing it anyway. So who really cares at that point?
You got anything else to say about game one?
Not too sure. I mean, mostly, if you're Ferris, you probably just maybe just stick with what you're doing because that was a really comfortable game for Ferris. They were ahead most of the time. So, yeah, I would expect a lot of big changes on Purdue's side. Wouldn't expect to see more than like one or two champions at most. Stay the same for Purdue's side.
Okay. We're waiting on Purdue for two teammates. Trying to think of which ones they were. Probably the top laner and the jungler, maybe.
I believe. Wait, wasn't Hef Colton the jungler? Yeah, I think it was. I don't know.
No, I'm wrong. It was maybe the mid and the bot is the one we're missing.
Yeah, I think that sounds a bit more right. It looks like everyone is in here, but maybe they're just waiting on getting an order. Probably just talking about what they could do better to win games 2 and 3, and seeing who they should prioritize on, like maybe banning out or focusing in these future games to help out their future endeavor and get the W under the belt. All right, and while we wait for them to hop up in the team select, while we wait for them to get into champ select, we're going to head over to a quick little break. We'll see you once the draft starts. Thank you for tuning in. right, welcome back. Looks like stream started a little bit delayed into the champ select. We see Ferris decide to keep the same bands, and Purdue, the only band they switched up looks to be they added the Zillion band instead. Okay, so Moist Orchestrums had free reign over which jungle he picks. He decided to get the Kha'Zix, and they stick Jones on the Gwen again. Did his job pretty wonderfully. And Dade is going to be playing the Corki. On Purdue's side, we see the double support in the solo lane with the Karma Lux and the extremely tanky Sejuani mid.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably a Lux mid with the Karma support. I think they probably let jungle pick go through, maybe because of Sejuani probably counters both of them.
Right, I can imagine that. Sejuani, I know for a fact Sejuani does really well into Kha'Zix with all of her tankiness. Solo lane, she's around pretty much anybody. Kha'Zix really isn't doing anything to her. And Lee Sin, Sejuani, is just really strong in the mid game. So her goal is just to make it out. Purdue decides to get the Ezreal, and Ferris responds with the Jinx and Sana coming out again. We're going to see who Purdue picks. They pick up the Yuumi. We see the triple support comp coming out for Purdue in this game. And, we see same thing for Ferris as we had last game. Not really a proper front line for them, and still with the splitting goal. But this time, they have a much more poke-oriented comp. Maybe would have liked to see the Lee Sin again. I think Lee Sin would have fit with this comp more, but maybe Moist Orchestrums just wanted to be a little more flashy and pick the Kha'Zix. It's going to be really hard to play the Kha'Zix with the Yuumi since she's pretty much always on people, and that does disable the isolation damage he gets.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jonesy because he's going against Karma top.
Right. Playing against a ranged top laner as melee is one thing. Playing against, if that is a tank Karma, I mean, that's just an entire another level of torture.
Disrespectful.
Right. We see a really strong poke comp from both teams, though, with, Karma, Lux, Ezreal, Yuumi on Purdue's side, and the Corki, Jinx, Sana on Ferris' side. So, wouldn't really expect a whole lot of team fighting. Sejuani does have an amazing team fight ultimate, but, aside from that, neither team is really suited for team fights all that much.
Yeah, this is looking like I feel like jungle here is going to be the most impact for both teams, seeing the way it goes, because Yumi's probably just going to stay bot lane, not roam a lot, and then I could say probably the same for Sona based on our last match. I don't think he was roaming that much, so I feel like this is all on the how the junglers play and just the lanes themselves.
Right. One thing to note for Purdue's side is they have the Sejuani, but they don't have any melee characters to help her with her her E ability. So it's going to be entirely on her to hit that hard CC for her. And seeing as Sejuani doesn't really build any attack speed, it's going to be pretty hard for her to do that. And that is where a lot of her damage lies. Most of the time you rely on your top laner or support for that. I'd say probably top laner. But yeah, normally you want at least one other melee character. She doesn't get that luxury exactly.
Yeah, also if she goes in all by herself, it looks like she'll get bursted really fast. I mean, because, Kha'Zix isolation, Gwen true damage, and then just everyone else piling on her.
Right, Purdue really wants to stay, 5 miles away. And Ferris doesn't have a problem with that. They can also stay 5 miles away, but everyone on Purdue's team wants to do that except for Sejuani. Sejuani wants to, Q in, land the ultimate, and, just start causing mayhem like that. And once she goes in, she relies pretty heavily on follow-up engage, but it doesn't look like she really has that right now.
I feel like probably the most interesting lane is probably going to be mid lane with Corki versus Lux. Top lane's probably not going to be that interesting at all. And then bot lane could probably be like last game where we think that, the Purdue's going to, poke a lot, but they could be just going in a lot because of ganks and then also just the way they play the game.
Right, I'm not entirely sure what to expect from this bot lane. This really could go either way, mostly depending on how aggressive this Yumi is. There isn't any like reliable hard CC to stop the Yumi from reattaching to Ezreal if she does attach, but so she could just attach, get her passive off, get her mana and that shield, and then just fly back. But if she does do that, Yumi is the squishiest champion in the game. Jinx, Sana has some pretty solid early game damage. Jinx, not as much.
It looks like we're getting into the game.
All right. Can't wait to see how game 2 goes.
No, it isn't a Karma tank top, at least.
Yeah, we do see the Karma with the Aerie. We see another game where, Lux decides to switch out her TP for, I believe that's Exhaust, right?
No, it's Barrier.
Oh, Barrier? Okay, so only 3 TPs this game. Yeah, and we have a pause. Looks like mid is going to be AFK for a little bit. We'll send you to break, and we'll be back when the game starts again. Work. Never mind.
Looks like he's back.
Never mind. Looks like it wasn't all that big of a delay.
It looks like we might have a problem with the
a little bit of technical difficulties.
League of Legends recording.
League of Clients right here,
Yeah.
Okay, we're good again. All right.
Miracle.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
All's well that ends well. All right, from both teams, again, we see 2 teams that don't have really good invades. Wouldn't be surprised if we see 5 points, but Kha'Zix goes in, gets the very aggressive ward on the enemy's red buff. He doesn't really care if Lux auto attacks. Lux decides to recall, not sure what for, but Kha'Zix probably gonna recall, get himself a sweeping lens, and Jonesy decides to go in aggressive level 1 against the Karma. Karma's doing no damage to her whatsoever. We see the Q start from her, and she decides to match Q. Wouldn't be surprised this is an early recall. If you're Jones, you probably just let her recall here because she could miss some minions, or no, not really. Besides, not a whole lot you could do to stop her anyway, seeing as how far under tower she was.
I think she'll miss a wave, or at least half of one.
Lux recalls, gets the red trinket, and clears out the ward for her jungler. Such a nice support. Not such a nice mid laner, supportive mid laner. And we see that both junglers are going to be starting their blue buffs this time, as opposed to the last game where they both started their red buff. And this could be a sign that Kha'Zix wants to gank bot lane early. This could prove to be a little harder since last time they were playing against 2 immobile bot laners, but this time Ezreal does have the E, plus the Yumi has her speed up. So, it could be a little more difficult to accomplish this. Not to mention Ezreal still has the exhaust specifically for the Kha'Zix this time. Or instead, Kha'Zix looks to invade the Sejuani's red buff, knowing that she started bot side.
Looks like Gwen's getting poked down top lane. Very unfun for him.
As opposed to what we saw before minion spawn, it's not all, Gwen is struggling a whole lot more this time. Decides to go in. Karma with the trade. If she does decide to mantra her W or ultimate her W, it does act as a heal, which is one of the major reasons why tank top Karma is so annoying. Kha'Zix is spotted out by the Sejuani, and Sejuani pretty much gets the solo kill, but the Lux gets the first blood. Do we see another kill?
I think that'll lead. No.
Oh, she blew her flash to get closer to the fight, so she can't flash over the wall to chase down the Corki. So Corki at least gets out alive. But still, that is a double buff Lux at level 3 with a first blood kill. So really tough sight to see if you are the Corki.
Yeah, we didn't see any other summoners used there.
Right, Kha'Zix held on to his flash and wasn't able to get anything. We see a lot of poking going on bot lane, but Sana is able to heal that up. Yumi is also able to do the same thing, but Yumi burns through her mana a lot more than Sana does. She relies on hopping out, proccing her passive to get mana back. but you know, she at least does have some way to restore mana. Sana is more so just relying on natural mana regen. We see the Sejuani top lane, and
There's a gank mid with Kha'Zix trying to edge again.
okay, we see 2 ganks going off. The Lux does not have heal, but does not have flash, but she does have barrier. She takes out the Corki, but she goes down, gets a kill to the Kha'Zix. You know, if you're Ferris, if you're in comps right now, this is overall worth. Corki is going to scale regardless. You want as many kills on this Kha'Zix overall, but this Lux does have 2 kills, and she gets an early lost chapter at 4 minutes. This is amazing. You are in a perfect position if you're Lux right now. You're pretty much not going to have mana problems for effectively the rest of the game unless you just go extremely gung-ho with your abilities.
She doesn't really even have to interact. She can just spam the wave.
Right. And now we see the Karma is just hard shoving this wave under tower. Could we see it dive? Maybe not. It looks like Sejuani is more so focused on counter jungling this Lee Sin, getting some of the camps that he stole back from her. This Kha'Zix is down a lot of CS, and he ganks the Lux again. This time doesn't work out quite as planned. Jones is losing a lot of health to this Karma top, getting poked out. He does have the TP, but he's not exactly in a good spot to use it yet. So he's probably just going to clear out this wave and then recall and then TP back to the wave.
I think we're getting towered up top, actually.
Yeah. Karma misses her mantra Q, but she does it. W. Sejuani flashes and messes up. Doesn't take turret aggro though, so you know, it's worth for Gwen. She gets the Sejuani flash and she lives. So
Kha'Zix ganking top.
All right, can't imagine this works out too well. He's in a 2v1. Gwen doesn't have enough HP to support this right now. He does have the double buffs though, so that is something of note. But yeah, he just decides it's not worth my time. I'm not doing any damage to the Sejuani even while she's isolated. I'm not going to accomplish anything, just wasting my time, especially after this Karma comes. Yeah, Jones decides to try to stay in lane. He's taking a lot of damage. This Doran's shield can only do so much to mitigate what he's taking from her. You know, Karma's healing is a lot more reliable than Gwen's is right now.
Seems like not much is going on with any other lane. Just Kha'Zix trying to camp mid, and bot lane just being a CS and poke.
Alright, you know, mid lane is even in CS, top lane is down 4 CS, bot lane is up 4 CS, so it's pretty, you know, CS is overall across the board even. And Jones goes down. He thought the Karma recalled, but she was waiting in the bush, used her alt Q and just killed him in effectively 1 shot. Jones got a little bit too greedy there, really didn't want to use his TP, but it looks like he's going to have to now if he doesn't want to miss this entire wave. You know, early game is really the best time to use it. You want to use, if you're going to use TP, you want to use it before you get the Unleash TP out. And we see another gank attempt from mid from the Kha'Zix. It doesn't work out quite as well as he was hoping it would. Has to blow his flash, otherwise he would have died to the Lux ult.
Other than that, Karma's just walking back to lane, not doing much even. But now she has a kill lead with half an item.
Right. We see that Karma also has a lost chapter, so that is now 2 AP carries on the Purdue side who will not have mana issues ever again. And you know, this is doubly worse for Karma since she can also heal herself with her abilities. So not only is she not going to be running out of mana, she's probably not even going to be running out of health either. And in response, Gwen decides to get an early Merc Tress to mitigate even more of this damage, this AP damage she's going to be taking from this Karma. So a lot more defensive of playstyle we're seeing from this Gwen as opposed to game 1. We saw what looked to be a gank attempt from the Sejuani to the bot lane. Didn't work out. Ferris, you know, they knew beforehand. I think they had a ward on the dragon that got spotted out by the pink ward, so they knew the Sejuani was there. So didn't really accomplish anything. Nope, we see another trade happening top lane. Nope, just decides to get the CC and then back off.
Yeah, all Jonesy can do right now is just farm. That's all he can do, which is not fun at all.
He doesn't. I mean, at this point, you know, you're down 1-0 to Karma. She has lost chapter. Like you don't have a win con for your lane anymore at this point. So pretty much just get as much CS as this Karma is nice enough to give you, and then just hope that later on in the game your true damage will be enough to bypass the shield she's going to be spamming. As you can see, it's really easy for her to just go in and out to a fight, and there's not a whole lot Gwen can do, even with her dashes. That's on a really short cooldown. The wave control is entirely in Karma's hand. We see Sejuani is at Rift Herald. Looks like it's going to be an early Rift Herald for Purdue side. Top lane does have push priority. Mid lane is about even. Bot lane doesn't really care about it. Looks like the Kha'Zix did recall, got himself a Serrated Dirk and an Executioner's Calling. Wanted to limit as much of this Yumi healing as possible.
No, she isn't the only healing. They also got the Karma W, but
yeah.
I thought it was a good item choice.
Alright, you know, overall, still pretty good. Looks like Ferris is going to decide to trade Herald for the Dragon. Sejuani does get the Herald. And, yeah, Ferris gets the Infernal Dragon.
Looked like another tower dive probably from Purdue going on Gwen.
C3 people, you know. Okay, Lux lands her CC. Jones does have flash. Not sure how much help it's going to be. If Lux lands another Q, that could be the end of him. Oh, Jones has to blow his flash. Lux ults. It hits. It does not kill. All right, and Sejuani immediately uses the Herald in the top lane. Going to get some gold. Can they get the play before it falls? No, they can't, but doesn't matter. I'm not sure if this is going to be first tower. I don't think it will be, but it will be some pretty serious damage onto this tower. You know, Jones just really not having a good time right now.
It's nice how Lux just ulted and it's already half cooldown.
Oh, looks like top tower will fall, and so will the Kha'Zix. Okay, very productive from Purdue. This is really what you wanted to see from them last game. Looks like they're up almost 3k gold, 10.5 minutes into the game. Gwen hops the wall, finds the Sejuani. Will Sejuani smite this camp? How badly does she want exactly? She does smite it. And Jones ults. She is really looking for this fight. And he's winning it pretty hard. Karma is not here to help. Sejuani cannot use her R while Jones is in that. And because of that misplay, Jones gets the kill.
I think the Karma back there, actually. I think she just left her. Came in.
Oh, that, yeah, you probably don't want to be in comms for Purdue right now if that is what happened. Alright, looks like Jones is back in the game now. He's actually up 3 CS, but Karma does have a completed Luden's Echo since she did get all the plates and first tower blood. So this is going to be a full AP Karma, but, you know, still annoying nonetheless. Karma in the solo lane just does Karma solo lane stuff. Kha'Zix will be spotted out by the Sejuani, but he's just going to get out of there. Nothing really keeping him there. Sejuani doesn't have R yet, but she does have Flash. We see pretty much all summoners up on Purdue side, and then the only person missing summoners on Ferris side is Jones, which isn't really the biggest deal. He's going to be solo most of this game anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much is happening for Ferris. When it comes to bot lane, I think they're just waiting for Jinx to scale. Same with Corki. Kha'Zix is just trying to do as much as he can with his small early game lead.
Aside from the jungle, we see Ferris is up across the board in CS numbers, and even then, he's only down 2 camps to the Sejuani, which really is super minor. And he's also the same level from what it looks like. Jones goes in. He's losing this trade pretty hard, though, and he doesn't have R yet. So Karma, wait. He misses the Q. Not sure if that would have.
No, I think that would have won.
It would have helped a lot. I can say that much with confidence.
Based on the healing alone and the fact that would have been true damage, I think he would have won that.
Right, but it looks like bot lane is going to be pretty intense. Jinx gets 1 kill, gets the reset, gets another kill. Her passive is just going crazy. Gets 2 kills on the Jinx and 1 on the Corki. Lux hits the double root.
Karma TP bot as Ferris is getting a good comeback with this team fight.
Right, Jones still not alive, not able to help. Jinx takes the plant solo. Sana is by herself, and they're not going to punish it. They don't have any wards. They didn't know Sana was by herself. Could have been a free kill on Purdue's side, but alas, you know, she gets out alive. If you're Sana, you're probably just screaming with joy and terror at the same time.
Also going to get a couple plates, and then I think Ferris is probably going to have even gold soon if they keep playing it right.
Only 30 seconds left on the plate. Well, 20 seconds now left on plates. Jinx has blue buff, actually, so she can just stay in rocket form as much as she wants. Get her that extra range and extra damage on her auto attacks. But it looks like they're not going to be able to get anything, so Jinx is just going to recall, get herself, I would imagine, a Gale Force, you know, probably dodge the Lux ultimates or like Sejuani ults or something like that. And then Sana, I mean, she got the early Grievous wounds. I wouldn't expect her to finish that item yet, though. Sana gets tier 2 boots and the Fairy Charm. Stocks up on pink wards. Both bot laners also switch out their wards. And the Gwen is mid. Looks like the solo lanes might be swapping lanes now.
I think it's because actually top lane, there's no point in going top lane anymore after the first tower.
Right.
So they're just grouping for Drake.
That makes a lot of sense. Dragon will be up in less than 30 seconds. Oh, it's actually up right now. Both junglers are up. Both junglers are level 8 with their smites up. There is a ward on there for Purdue side. They're going to have to try to get rid of that. But looks like Purdue is just more so playing it safe right now. I can imagine they're really scared of the Kraken Slayer Jinx that can take care of their only front line. And Ferris moving as a unit can very easily get this dragon. Looks like Purdue's not going to contest this. This is going to be second dragon.
But he also has a package.
Right, you know, as opposed to game 1, if this were a Cloud Soul, this actually wouldn't be too bad for Ferris' side, but instead it's going to be a Hex Soul, which, you know, still really good for Ferris. No complaints. You do have the Corki, the Gwen, the Jinx, you know, they're going to be auto-attacking a lot, plus the benefits you get from it and the mobility you get across the map. Just overall a good thing.
Yeah, I think Hex is probably one of the top 3 best breaks at the moment.
Oh, Sejuani's going for the gank. Yuumi lands her R on both people, and looks like both bot laners are going to go down. Sejuani going to get both kills, or is she going to try to hand it off? She's not. Ezreal's not going to be able to get it. Who was that? Corki had to blow his flash, otherwise he might have died to the Karma. You don't want any more kills going on her than she already has. She's already being problematic as it is.
It looks like Sejuani's going to push bot and try and get a free turret. Or no, she's invading Kha'Zix, and bot lane's just pushing. I feel like the Ferris jungle and top are probably going to go for Rift.
Yeah, you know, overall, I mean, you know, if you're Kha'Zix, you're trading like Krugs and maybe this tier 1 tower, quite likely this tier 1 tower, for a Rift Herald. This pretty even trade overall. No, not terrible. I mean, losing your bot tower is pretty sad, especially knowing that Jones likes to split. Having that extra tower there for safety is just a nice benefit to have. But oh, looks like will Lux be dying here? Oh, Jones lands her all on the Lux, goes down. Kha'Zix hops the wall and one-shots the Karma.
Double kill for Gwen. It looks like Gwen's finally going to scale now, and that could be an issue.
Okay, yeah, we see Gwen has the 3 kills now, and Purdue finally gets the tower. And Kha'Zix is in the mid area. Who picked up the Herald? Oh, okay, yeah, he did use it. All right, I was wondering, like, I hope they didn't leave it there. That's a lot of gold that they're going to be missing out. And no one is mid to stop this Rift Herald put. There's just going to be 2 towers, and this might even smack the 3rd one if Ferris really decided to keep pushing it. Nah, they're just going to fall back. Hey, we got 2 towers. We're more than happy with what we got. No need to take any more risky plays. Kha'Zix a little bit caught out, but, you know, he has his jump. Not too scared of anything. Almost level 11. Once he hits that level 11, he will have the second ability. He has his Q evolve.
Another team fight as they get Sejuani out.
Then Purdue's front line goes down. Jinx is excited now. She's just smacking away, but she doesn't have any real follow-up. Corki is also rather low on mana, and now he's getting poked out pretty severely by this Lux and Yuumi. So Ferris will just take that 1-for-1 trade for the junglers. Junglers aren't really all too necessary right now. No major objectives are up for the next few minutes.
Looking like a really close game with the amount of gold at the moment. Both are 1.3k away.
Right, you know, one thing to notice though is that 3 of Purdue's kills are on the Sejuani, who are not who you want them on. And Rewa gets 1 shot from behind by the Karma. He did not know there were no wards on the top side of the map, and he goes down. So that is now 3 people on Purdue's side who have 3 kills, and you know, one of them is on your tank who you don't really want it, and none of them are on your AD carry who really needs them, especially to protect himself from this Kha'Zix. We do see a hybrid Ezreal coming out though. He picked up the Essence Reaver first, and is that going to be a Luden's first item from Ezreal? Not sure what he's going to be building with that.
Does that build the new item, or am I wrong?
Oh, the shield, the crown thing.
Yeah,
that would actually be incredible into Kha'Zix. You really, yeah, if you're a Kha'Zix, you see that item, you pretty much start crying. Ezreal, yeah, he does not want to play this game anymore. He exhausts. Kha'Zix flashes
is mad with the exhaust,
and he goes
and kills
in.
the Ezreal. Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly why you want the item, but yeah, you know, your Ezreal, you can only run away so much. It's Kha'Zix. You're isolated. You don't have your Yuumi. You don't have your Karma. He's just gonna do whatever he wants to you.
He doesn't go with the crown. He goes with Ludens.
He does go with the Ludens. Okay, so we see 3 Ludens on Purdue's side, so extremely heavy poke from them. That is going to be their goal, name of their game. They're going to try to poke out Ferris before an actual fight breaks down, and then once things get serious, probably use Sejuani ult, and then Yuumi ult, CC everyone, line them all up for Lux ult. Oh, we see Kha'Zix, with his level 11 evolved ability, decides to get his W evolved, so we get that 99% isolation slow, make it even harder for the Ezreal to run away.
Drake's up, and it's looking like Ferris is going to try and fight for this.
Right, Corki does have the TP up, and Gwen is really low on HP. She might want to recall first and then TP to the fight. Okay, both teams just playing it really slowly right now. Ferris is waiting for the solo laners to get into the fight. Kha'Zix has to jump out. He has no reliable way in there now. Seeing as how he also doesn't have flash, he's just waiting for his smite to come up. Can he steal it? He gets the dragon. That's going to be Ferris's third dragon, and in response to that, Purdue will take 3 of their lives, and that could very well be a Baron if Purdue were to seek after it. They only have Corki, who just used his package immediately after he got it. And the Gwen, who, I mean, right now isn't strong enough to, say, 2v5. So, yeah, it looks like Purdue will take their chances with this early Baron.
Well, it seems a little bit worth it there, so I guess, I mean, if they can get soul.
Right, overall, I mean, this isn't the worst thing in the world. They did, Purdue is back to expanding the gold lead that they had earlier in the game, but not by a whole lot. Once they get this Baron, they're probably going to look to just shoot that through the moon. And we see the Gwen, you know, left her own vices again, gets another bot lane tower. And we'll see how Ferris decides to treat this. I wouldn't be surprised if they say just turtle up mid and then just have Gwen by herself, because honestly, I don't think anyone on Purdue side can kill Gwen by himself. Like, Karma can like outlast her. She can just like survive, but she's not like stopping Gwen. And then I could probably say the same for like Lux, and you especially don't want to leave the Ezreal and Sejuani by themselves against the Gwen. So yeah, probably just you know, leave the top lane alone. Maybe just fix the wave and then send 4 people mid.
Yeah, they're doing the 4-1 strategy. Purdue is.
Right, Jones isn't going to continue pushing this. He has no wards in the bot side jungle, and he doesn't know where most people on Purdue's side are. So just going to play it safe. He does still have the TP, so if more people do show up, he can decide to just TP at any moment. Karma's going to keep pushing in this top lane tower. She also has TP, so she can also join the fight at any time. Looks like this mid-tier 1 tower is going to fall on Ferris' side.
I'm just going to use cannon with Baron to probably get the towers as they try and poke them down.
Right. We see Kha'Zix had a pretty decent flank, but you know, everyone on Purdue's side is huddled up together. There's not a whole lot you can do, so you're just gonna fix the top lane wave. That way they don't lose tier 2 top tower. Oh, Sana gets one-shotted by all those long-range poke abilities. Not a whole lot. You know, she probably couldn't even see them, maybe. Actually, they were a pretty close tower, but, you know, just nigh off-screen, just getting abilities yeeted at her by the 3 Ludens carries on Purdue's side. And now, since Purdue doesn't have any reliable CC,
get that in a tower.
they get that. You know, it's truly a shame that the Yuumi doesn't have a Dark Seal right now, because this that could be very problematic. And but yeah, it looks like Purdue is just going to keep running this in. Ferris doesn't have any wave clear to stop this. This could be a gone mid inhib. Looks like it will be. Kha'Zix's going to go back to the mid lane, so they're going to give up the mid tier 2 tower too. And Kha'Zix jumps in, attempts to kill the Lux, and fails to do so. Has to blow his flash to get out alive. But Lux does use her barriers.
And her ult will be back up in 20 seconds.
Yeah, you know, if you're Lux, I mean, that's at this point is pretty much a basic ability. Like, you know, you can use that without much consequence, especially when you're so much stronger than them. You're already one-shotting certain people on Ferris' side. You don't really need it desperately. Not to mention, if the Yuumi's attached to you, she's just giving you free damage by simply existing. And now the Baron is gone, so we probably just see a reset on Purdue's side. Hex Dragon will be up in less than a minute. That looking like it's going to be Ferris' win con right now. And before they can even recall, Lux's ult is already back up. What is new? Hey, over.
Trying to, they could probably get this Drake really fast if it spawns in the next, I don't know, like 20 seconds.
Right, you know, looks like Ferris is kind of setting up for it. They're not putting a whole lot of vision down, which, oh, the Sana doesn't have any wards. I don't think she recalled beforehand. So all she has are the 2 pink wards, and you probably just want to keep one of them on the dragon. Oh, is Sana caught out? She gets hit by the Lux R, lives. Ezreal R lives that too. Everyone's just throwing, people just have a vendetta against the Sana for some reason. Not sure why, but hey. We'll see if Purdue can get their first dragon of the game, or if Ferris will be able to get this and get their soul. You know, if you're Ferris, it might be worth for Kha'Zix to die. You definitely don't want the whole team dying. Sejuani whiffs her ult. Yuumi gets an amazing ult. Corki packages in, separates the Sejuani by herself. Purdue no longer has a smite, and Ferris just runs everyone down. But Purdue is not going down without a fight. Jinx does what she can, but the Kha'Zix is still alive. Sejuani isn't. Lux flashes in. And now no team has a smite. Corki just gets out. Will he be able to steal this? Probably with an ultimate. He doesn't have sight. He doesn't. Lux gets a quadra kill.
They get Drake, and looks like Ferris' base is getting sort of destroyed.
Right. You know, exactly what I was bringing up. Karma TP's in. We'll see. You know,
that might be game, actually.
Yeah, Karma might be able to solo end this game at this point. She has super minions, and you know, bot lane won't be up for about 6 seconds now. The Sana's up, but Sana can't deal with this Karma by herself. We'll see if the Jinx can. Oh, Karma might die for this tower. Oh, one more auto attack. Yeah, she gets out of there. She gets her move speed. She flashes out, and she lives. All right, she blows both of her summoners, but for 2 towers, I would say that is overall worth for them. Oh, Jinx throws her ult, and it does not kill. Tragic.
Never falter.
Okay, well, looking at items across the board, you know, Lux coming off of that quadra kill, she does have a 10-stack Dark Seal, plus she has a pot, well, she has an elixir in her inventory that she can use at any point. I mean, that could very well by itself be a game ender. You really need to get Lux out of the fight first and foremost. She will be the most problematic person if I were to guess for Ferris' side. And you know, aside from that,
I think they're prepping for Baron at the moment. While Ferris can't really do much. They have to probably either contest this because the game's probably over.
Right. Ferris isn't down an absurd amount. They are down about 4K gold right now, but you know, overall, like, you're just in a really tough position. Your inhib's open, and your jungler just went down. You can no longer contest this Baron. And should Purdue decide to get it, they could very well just end off with that, or they're just going to decide to 5-man in mid, say, hey, we have all this firepower. We have Sejuani who can tank. Actually, no, there are no Nexus towers. Sejuani doesn't even need to tank it. So yeah, they're just gonna decide to, 5v4. This Lux is still alive. The Yumi is still alive. If I were Yumi, I would attach to this Lux and just, have her feeling like a late game Vagar at this point.
Moist is about to be up in 10 seconds, so I don't think this is the right play.
Yeah, I hard disagree. I definitely would have gone for the Baron right there. They were there. The jungler was dead. They had no one to contest it. The only thing that could even remotely stand a chance is Jinx Rocket. But like even then, like it's doing nowhere near as much damage as your Smite. So like yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't decide to go for a Baron right there. Maybe a little bit overconfident. They overestimated how much wave clear they had. Or, maybe a bit too greedy. Who knows? But,
I think it's just bad shot calling, but hopefully Ferris can, come back from it.
Looks like they decide to go for the Baron play now. This time, Ferris has everything up. Ferris does spot them out with the far side.
Looks like this fight is going to determine the outcome of the game.
Jinx is not with the rest of her team.
Exhausted. Try to get both junglers are down.
Alright, both teams have no smite now. Ferris loses their top laner. Sana goes down as well. Looks like it's just Corki and Jinx. Okay, and Ezreal goes down too. Everybody is dying. It is a war zone at the Baron pit right now. Will Jinx be able to kill this Karma? She has the stop one?
I think that's game, actually.
Yeah, this could very well be game. The Lux. Yeah, Jinx is doing what she can, but Karma shields, Lux shields, Yumi heals. Not a whole lot you can do, and long death timers. The only person who's going to be up in efficient time are the Sana and Kha'Zix. You're not isolated, so and Kha'Zix is 2 and 7. He's pretty far behind. He's not the biggest threat. Sana is just Sana. She's not ever really a big threat unless she's full AP and ahead. But yeah. Okay, looks like they only get the inhib and they're going back to Baron. They say, hey, we've already won this Baron fight twice in a row. We can do this all day, I guess.
I just don't think the death timers are as long as I remember.
Alright, these death timers sure do feel a lot longer when you're playing. But okay, looks like Purdue, instead of getting Baron, will instead start prepping for Dragon. They don't want Ferris to get the soul. Maybe they think that if Ferris gets the soul, they might actually start winning these team fights and pose a real serious logistic threat to them.
I feel like this all comes down to them getting their carries. If they can do that even one time, they probably could just win the game.
Right, first and foremost, you really need to get this. If you're Ferris, you need to get this Lux down. She is just so problematic with all of her AoE damage. And then after that, I mean, Yumi is an optimistic goal to get down. She's just giving anyone she attaches to free damage and sustainability. And then probably after that, Karma. Ezreal and especially Sejuani really aren't major threats right now. Sejuani is just annoying with all of her tanking, and she has like, I don't know, probably close to 4K HP right now.
Drake is up, and I'm expecting another fight as looks like.
Right, Ferris wants to fix this wave, but Jinx can't get to it in time. Purdue hasn't started it yet.
I think they're waiting out the cannon super minions.
Right, we see a lot of super minions in mid lane, and top lane is getting pushed in. So. Yeah,
it's like Kha'Zix is probably with Corki is trying to get the steal.
Purdue decides to not get it, and Kha'Zix does not get the Dragon, the combination of the Lux alt plus the smite. Actually, not even smite. Sejuani didn't smite. But yeah, just overall, he just wasn't able to get there in time. So now that is a dead jungler once again.
They're going to do a 5v4. Okay.
We'll see if Purdue has the manpower to close the game out. Now, there is no Sejuani. Our Lux alt will be up in probably about 3 seconds, Basic ability at this point. Corki goes down. Lux lands her alt. On the backline, Sana's down. Nice. Jinx is going crazy. They've left her alone for too long now. And Lux gets out with the Hex Gate portal. And looks like they only get the Ezreal and the Karma for trade for that. That's really all you need, though. Ezreal really good at taking, structures with his W, and Karma just provides AoE shielding and just hard sustainability. So, they did what they needed to do. Not to mention those kills did go on the Jinx, who are very important to have on them. Kha'Zix is caught out. He gets the red buff, but he may die for it. He flashes out. He's going for the Lux. Is not going to happen, though. He is in a 1v3 situation. Blows his flash. He gets the red buff, but loses life for it. Not worth at all. He could have probably gotten out.
Yeah, he could have gotten out.
Yeah, they didn't know where he went. They guessed wrong, but he decided to go back in and attempt to kill the Lux. Didn't work out the way he planned it to exactly.
Looks like they're finally doing Baron now.
No, Kha'Zix not up for 20 seconds. They could actually attempt to do this. All 5 members of Purdue up, so we'll have 5 Barons. Jinx ulti just way too early. Still 13k HP on the Baron, and now there's nothing Ferris can do to stop this, really. And looks like Baron goes down. You know, you'll probably see a 5-man recall. Everyone spend their gold and then just go back to doing what they do best. Looking at items, we see Ezreal is building towards a Zhonya's. He has the Secret Arm Guard and the Stopwatch right now. You know, very hybrid Ezreal. He probably wants to get as much damage with his W off as possible. So, you know, he's a major contender for most damage to structures this game. But overall, you know, it looks like Purdue is just going to 5-man in mid, say, hey, you're going to have to deal with us one way or another. I think Inhib's going to be up in probably about a minute now, if I were to guess, but that's not really going to be the thing gating them from ending the game.
Blue team's inhibitors
Yeah, we see that Blue Inhib will be responding relatively soon. Purdue playing it very safe. Not really sure why they're up 6k gold. They do have the Baron buff. They need to be pushing this while they have all the minions here. They had all 5 players. They're not sure why they weren't just going to end the game right there, or at least get the inhib.
Looks like just mixed things are going on. They don't know what to do.
Probably conflicting shot calls. Now they have another wave there. We could see a 5v5. Jinx has the Guardian Angel now, so they're going to have to deal with her twice. Purdue just trying to use their long-range abilities, poke out Ferris right now. And looks like this inhib finally will be going down. And Purdue falls back, waits for their next wave. Dragon, it doesn't look like Dragon is going to be up anytime soon. So yeah, you know, you still do want to keep shoving these waves, or they're going to go top lane, which actually isn't the worst call. If you're having a hard time ending the game right now, and you know your enemy team's win con is the Dragon, you could just get the top lane inhib and have that auto shoving, especially when there is no Nexus towers. That is a big threat that Ferris is going to have to deal with, so they aren't going to be able to deal with Dragon as easily.
Looks like Ferris about to be up in a minute. They're trying to take top tower. Big fight happens.
Sejuani goes down, and looks like Ferris is winning this fight. Oh, no, Ezreal gets out alive. Gwen, no, he does not. Gwen has had enough. She is going in and says, if my team won't end the game, then I will. But the Kha'Zix does go down.
And 200 years.
200 years. The Corkster and the Gwen saved the game for Ferris. And, oh no! Karma with the amazing guess, even though he was on the pink ward. That is devastating, you know. Oh, I'm sure the Jinx does want to go and solo the Dragon. That way they do have a guaranteed soul. But, you know, Karma could end the game by herself. Well, no, the Gwen is still alive. You know, I'm not sure. Maybe she was just scared of the Karma 1v1. Maybe thought it wasn't worth her time or her effort. The Sejuani will be up before the Kha'Zix. Well, yeah. Karma's just going to set up this Dragon. This will be Purdue's 3rd Dragon if they are able to get it. She starts it up. Sejuani will be there before the Kha'Zix. And, you know, we're entering late game territory. Most people have 4 to 5 items. So, I mean, taking something like a Dragon really doesn't take any time at all. Oh, I thought Jinx got this. Tragic. Now both teams are on soul point. Purdue gets their 3rd Hextech Drake. And we are back to CSing, just shoving lanes. Wouldn't be surprised if, you know, both teams probably send one person top lane to get an advantage over there. if I'm Ferris, you know, might want to send the Gwen top lane. I mean, she hasn't been the most productive in fights. I know she popped off and went crazy in the last fight, but you can't, you know, you probably shouldn't rely on that for every fight. So you want Jones doing what he does best and just splitting, drawing aggro, and just, you know, creating as much pressure as you can across the map, because Ferris hasn't been having the best of luck with these 5v5s these past, say, 15 minutes.
Jinx is the first person with full build now. As looks like we're gonna see another 5v5 top.
Right, yeah, we see Purdue sending all 5 members top, you know, say, hey, we're having a hard time ending mid, you know, might as well just get this top inhib and just create some more super minions. Looks like they're not going to be able to do that. Quirky does have package. He sends the Sejuani back, stops the Sejuani Q. Will they go out?
Try to get the unit.
Oh, the Kha'Zix spells in his task in assassinating anyone, and the Sejuani gets out alive with her life. She does not. She gets burned by the Gwen pot, doing true damage. Looks like both junglers are down, but Ferris also loses their mid laner for trade for that. Purdue could go for a Baron, but, you know, not necessarily the most important thing right now. Probably just want to wait till your jungler's back up for safety.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they are going to do a Baron. They don't seem like doing that after the past 10 minutes.
Just decide instead to just get this top inhib, and will we see a 4v3 going on? There are no towers here. Sana gets hit. It is now a 4v2. Can Jinx and Gwen save the game? We saw Jones save the game last time. Will he do it again? Can he go 2 for 2? He did his job well enough. They're afraid. They don't know that the Gwen ult is not up yet, which is really the catalyst for what was making things so difficult on Purdue's side. We see the on my way pings to the Baron, so Purdue will instead go for that.
Yeah, we're gonna need Ferris is gonna really need a big throw for them to come back at the moment, because both inhibs are down, and I feel like the only way they're probably going to come back here is if they either win the next fight or if they steal this Baron.
Right, you know, Ferris has been steadily only down 4k gold for the last like 20 minutes or so, but this 4k gold has been a lot more noticeable on Purdue's side than it has been for Ferris. Ferris has been losing inhibs left and right. They only have 1 tower up left, and that's in their, oh, they actually have 2 towers left in their bot lane, which at this point Purdue doesn't even care about. So, you know, Ferris really needs to figure out something like, hey, you know, like, we're as strong as we're going to get. I mean, Jinx can finish her last Whisper item, but that's the strength she's going to be getting from that isn't all too noticeable. So, like, they need to say, hey, we need to figure out some way, because obviously what we're doing isn't helping us win this game. We need to figure out something, because what we're doing right now isn't working. And Purdue might also be having these same thoughts, because they've been trying the same strategy for the last 20 minutes, and they haven't been able to end the game. So
that's not the best strategy.
Not the most efficient thing they could be doing. Jinx finishes her build. She is now full build. Ezreal is almost full build. Jinx just Lux firing.
Lands a big R on 2 of the carries.
Purdue fails to get the mid inhib.
And looking like this is going to be a Soul in the next minute. I feel like if Ferris doesn't get this, they're going to lose.
Alright, Ferris really need to not only get this, but also get out with their lives. You know, like, having Soul is nice, but if all 5 players on your team die for it, I mean, what good does Soul do for you? Sana is caught out. She blows her flash. She gets out alive. The Lux misses.
Jungler most likely, yeah.
And can they get the Sejuani? If they do, that'll be huge.
Oh.
Looks like she will get out alive. It's looking like it. Yep, the Yuumi heals. Devastating. If the Sejuani dies right there, that could have very well have been Ferris's Soul, but instead she gets out, and now she is, I mean, she's already half HP because of the Yuumi plus the things. So Ferris really needs to get this. Can they get it?
And he gets
it. Nice. Moist Ogre Shrooms. gets the soul for Ferris. Massive play for them, especially when Purdue still has Baron buff up. And Karma recalls TPs back to lane. You know, now that the Kha'Zix is dead, like at this point, it's pretty much do or die. They have to end this game. Otherwise, Ferris, like, you know, Ferris at this point, their goal might just be to stall it out until Elder Dragon comes up. And if they get Elder Dragon, I can imagine they just went off of that alone. Sejuani hits the R on Jinx, pops the Guardian Angel. Sejuani is now by herself. The front line is dead. And the Jinx gets out alive. Sana gets hit by a root. Doesn't really matter. Alright, Jones goes in. The Hexo putting in work. Everybody is doing massive damage. Corky flashes in. Ezreal almost lands the blind Q, doesn't exactly hit it yet. The Lux goes down. She loses her Magi stacks. That is insane. At this point, you only have 6 stacks. You might just want to sell that and get a more useful item. I wouldn't rely on, you know, being able to fill that back up again. Oh, Ferris lost their bot lane tier 2 tower. Not the, you know, biggest deal in the world. And looks like they're going to start trying to shove this mid lane tower in themselves. They have had enough of being in their base. They want to be in Purdue's base now. They will get the mid inhib. Sejuani. Lux will not be up for 20 seconds. That is their biggest carry. Corky has the TP. He can TP into this.
I'm trying to end the game as soon as possible.
Right. Corky could have TP'd that minion. He decides not to.
That might be an issue.
Ferris gets their top inhib back, and now both teams are down their mid inhib, so it pretty much cancels out. Baron's not going to be up anytime soon. Neither will Elder Dragon. Probably got about 4 minutes on the Dragon, and probably close to 2 to 3 minutes on the Baron.
Almost everyone's full build, and almost everyone's level 18, so we're going to the biggest part of the late game where any big mistake can now just make you lose the game, which is what's been happening sort of for Purdue.
Right, you know, losing that Dragon honestly might have cost him the game. That was the #1 thing they needed Ferris to not do. They were doing so well holding them off. They got the next 3 Dragons after Ferris was on soul point, but they were not able to stop Moist Ogre Shrooms from just getting in there and getting the soul. And now it looks like we could see a 5v5. This could very well be the end of the game if they do decide to go through with it. Looks like not. Purdue could possibly want to get the top inhib back on their side opened up. Corky has package yet again. He's going to be looking for a fight pretty soon. We see some bush cheese coming out from Purdue, looking to catch someone out. They don't have enough vision placed down to properly catch them out. Ferris spots him out, though. They know what they're doing. And Baron will be up in about 1 minute now. Purdue is setting up for that, hoping possibly to catch out the Kha'Zix or something. Gwen is caught. They see it. Oh, the Corky and the Sana go down massive.
It looks like it's a trade
okay.
So far.
Ferris is killing everyone.
The entire team.
Ferris cleans up Purdue. That is likely the end of the game. They left the Jinx alive. Minute-long death timers. Jinx has amazing wave clear as well. It doesn't matter that there are super minis here.
Yeah, that 50 seconds is
This
really
is
long.
hurting, and if you're Purdue, you have no choice but to sit back and watch.
That's the biggest throw I think I've ever watched
this
year. Actually, it is the biggest throw I've watched this year.
Honestly, you know, so many missed Baron opportunities on Purdue's side that they could have probably just ended the game off of that. Still 30 seconds left, and Jinx is at the tower. That's going to be the end. Ferris wins 2-0 against Purdue University. Insane game, 47.5 minutes. Purdue did their best, but it was not enough. GG, well played on both sides.
Yeah, it all came down to the, I feel like, bad shot calling.
Right, you know, a lot of shot calls or miscommunications or something going on in there. You know, Purdue really should have won that game at about 25 minutes or so. That game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but Moist Ogre Shrooms, the KDA doesn't show it, but he really did save this game for Ferris right there. And not to mention Jones, especially in these late game fights, was really the catalyst for the game changer. Like, he also came in after he got the triple kill in the top lane fight.
Yeah, I felt like it was more the top laner, even though I know the Kazakhs did get that final Drake, but it's like the only reason they even got to that final Drake was because of the late game of Ferris's top laner.
Right. I also think they let Rewa just free hit a little bit too much. They didn't prioritize him. They felt more like they were prioritizing the Corki and the Sana, which really isn't all that important for Ferris' side. They more so wanted the Gwen and the Jinx just doing what they do best, especially after they get Hex Tech Soul. I mean, at that point, like, you have free hitters just getting chain damage. Like, yeah, it's just tons of damage all around.
As we're looking at the charts, it looks like Corki did the most damage, other than
For Ferris' side,
yeah.
I would imagine we can't exactly see Purdue's damage charts, but if I were to guess, I would imagine Lux probably did the most in the game.
Yeah, the last fight she was one-shotting 2 people, I think.
Right. Well, that's going to be the end of game 2. Ferris takes it 2-0. Good match, Purdue. You did your best. We wish you luck in your next few games. But overall, very well done by Ferris's Gold team. Very exciting games, both games 1 and 2. Can't wait to see what they have in store next week.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for tuning into the stream. Hope to see you on a next stream. I think next is the Overwatch stream. Yeah. Call of Duty we have tomorrow. So yeah, be there, watch that. Hopefully Karaka is going to be playing. He's going to be on his A game. Very exciting to watch. So yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Bye.